Joan North video and move-in video for 1369 East Gilmore. And you can see this is the kitchen upstairs. That's cobweb hanging off a pre-existing hook. The floor and linoleum is just super old, cracked, with chips, stains, etc. I'll try to see the defects in the door and the closet. Paint on this little railing is all chipped and scratched. This is how it was. Let's see, paint scratched, holes all over. This picture was, obviously it's too high. I would have put it lower, but I used a pre-existing hole, so no holes in the wall. See all the damage to the paint. The floor is just, linoleum is just in unbelievably poor condition. With cracks and bubbled up areas, you can see there, stains. You can see all that from water is chipped up, bubbled up, stained. Fridge, moldings, just like throughout the whole place, chipped, scratched, damaged. The fridge has drip dents in it, dripped paint. I've got it set down on 1, and it's finally not freezing things. On 2, it set down on the low setting of 2. It would freeze things. See scratches in the fridge, fading. There are little stickers left on there. I don't know why. Fridge was actually cleaned out, so that was good. But you can see that the shelving is broken and it was taped. You can see how old that tape is. Heaven knows how long that's been broken. But we didn't break the shelves in the fridge. They are already broken. This door right here sticks continuously and has a crack in it. This one slides okay. You can see I've got that setting, oops, if I can get this centered, down on 1 because it freezes everything. Crack, like I said, there's a crack in yet another part of it. Molding, around there all dirty, but crack. Okay, getting cabinets. They were all dirty. I've wiped these down. The insides were all dirty. I had already documented with pictures this situation regarding this microwave, which the previous tenants apparently destroyed the microwave, so they got a new one, installed incorrectly. The GE guy came out and just said the install was completely incorrect. Behind this microwave, there's no external vent. It just goes straight into the cabinet, straight into the plywood. There's no external venting at all. So now when you turn on the vent, initially it was broken because it was installed incorrectly, but now when you turn on the vent, and I'll try to demonstrate that, it blows right out here. So it blows right out here, which means that, of course, all the cooking grease and stuff is going to be all over this wall and cabinet and so forth area because it's not vented appropriately. The stove, very, very cheap, of course, with scratches there. You can see basically they had it was mediocre clean. Underneath these, I have pictures documenting it is grease and gross, stuff because it wasn't thoroughly cleaned. You can see residual dirt, grease, etc. that wasn't cleaned in the oven. And down here, some grease and so forth on the oven. Just an example of the filth I've obviously missed this one when we thoroughly cleaned the kitchen. Just the grease dripped down, that's just been left for heaven knows probably years. You can see scratches, dents, cracks, otherwise damage there. Nails, holes in the wall. Let's see, just a plethora of nail holes here. Chips to the paint. Molding, as usual with all the moldings damaged. Molding, chips, cracks, otherwise dents, otherwise damage. The computer vent here, you can see absolutely filthy. Hasn't been cleaned in years. And with cracks, etc. all the way around it. Cabinets, I've wiped them down, but you can still see dirt, And then, of course, cracks. Nail holes, chipping, etc. This particular kitchen blind does have the wand. And then you can see damage to this. It's missing that little clasp or whatever knob on the here. It's all knotted. Once again, same quality throughout on these blinds. Absolutely cheap, and no doubt will not withstand any kind of time. Looking at the windowsill, you can see dirt, chips, cracks. That's like there, and cracks and so forth there. All the windows, of course, were absolutely filthy. You can see they haven't been cleaned in years. You can see as I'm trying to lower this blind, it's sticking and catching. So no doubt it's not long for this world, but it's semi-operational right now, so we'll take it. Better than nothing. Holes. Defects. This wall is just damaged and scratched to heck. Looks like from previous, tables and so forth being in here. Like I said, the floor completely damaged. There's a nice little rust stain. Heaven knows what that was there. I've scrubbed that. Can't seem to get that baby off of there. Once again, paint dripped on this. Damage. Linoleum is just absolutely in terrible shape. This whole molding in the kitchen is just, chipped and damaged and so forth. You can see behind this stove is probably, oh my gosh, I'm too afraid to pull it out. You can see how filthy it is. This thing hasn't been cleaned in years. All the drawers, have cracks and chips, and you can see just dirt, just gross on there. But the main thing is, of course, the damage, because I don't want this, once again, withheld or deducted from my substantial security deposit. The counter, you can see cracks and chips and scratches from knives that people have used to cut right onto the counter surface, which I would never do. Sink, it's a porcelain sink, nice old sink, nothing wrong with that, but of course it's chipped and scratched and so forth. Chipped, scratched. Faucet, you can see, I cleaned this. Cabinets, you can see my cutting boards, because I use cutting boards. I don't scratch the heck out of cabinets and out of countertops. So you can see all these scratches in the linoleum or in the cabinet surface, or excuse me, counter surface here. Hopefully I'm documenting all these scratches and defects here in the countertop, which I didn't do. I use cutting boards. Been a homeowner for 28 years, and I'm not going to be damaging things when a little prevention can prevent such things. And holes, nails. I think Anthony already got the damaged linoleum all the way down here and all the way damaged around that doorway. We did put a new doggy door in. It already had a hole in the door with a pre-existing doggy door, but just had plywood in it. So Sally Brown gave us permission to replace the old doggy door with a new one, which we did. When we move out, we'll be taking that doggy door and putting back in the plywood one that was already in there. Oh, and I think we haven't already documented this, but just to see all that damage on this stairwell, that's all scratches, damage in the paint, the whole, you can see these edges of the stairs. They've got duct tape on them of all things, but it's even scratched and peeled off and so forth. It's just crazy. And that molding down there completely damaged. So this whole wall of the stairwell is completely chipped, damaged, just absolutely thrashed. I mean, just from years of abuse and failure to maintain. This is just unbelievable. And I believe Anthony got all this stuff, but just to see, oh my goodness, just look at all this damage to this. Just atrocious. This whole molding's not even stuck on. It's just kind of flipped down. And you can see all the substantial damage to this whole stairwell thing. Missing light fixture, damage. I mean, just too multiple to even document, for sure. And just filthy. We've already mopped this once, and you can't even believe the mop water and how, dirty it was. But you can see scratches, damages. This whole thing is the landlord's called to have the old, barely operational washer and dryer removed to charity. So the charity service, when they hauled it out at bequest of the landlord, could barely get it up the stairwell, so they scratched the living crud out of everything when they hauled it up. So you can just see this is just absolutely, this whole stairwell area just thrashed, just absolutely thrashed. This whole thing here, chipped, scratched, damaged, dented, pieces of wood missing, etc. Just from failure to, years and years of use and failure to maintain or replace anything. Oh, I took pictures of this. But just a classic example. In fact, let me get on the chair of just how dirty everything was. Haven't had a chance to clean this light fixture yet, but you can see, yeah, it's got a couple years worth of dirt and dust on it. Same with the fan up on top, dirt and so forth up there. Alright, impossible to document it all, but at least it gives a general overview of damage to the premises. You can see this nice little spider web there still left. And that's after hours of cleaning, I might add. Alright, moving on to the living room.